Hello, everybody, and welcome to the Critical Misses channel. Thank you for sticking with us through that bit of a delay. We appreciate all of your patience. Welcome back to the Critical Misses channel. For once, we are actually not going to do a cold open because we left off on a cliffhanger that I don't think could be topped to set the mood. So we're going to jump right into introductions, starting on my right, according to the overlay, with our resident arcane goth.
Hi, I'm Max. I am the resident arcane goth, also non-resident, as that is my username most places on the internet. And I play Bishop, who is a hound who is in a pretty bad situation right now.
Indeed. And next up, we have the ever professional Ryan.
What's going on, Ryan? I'm Sphinx. Me playing Cole, Lurk. Both of my pronouns are he, him.
Fantastic. And then next up, going down the list, we have Becca.
Hello, I'm Becca. I use she, they pronouns, and I'm playing Nines, they, them, who is our resident cutter that finally gets to hurt people, really hopefully. Hopefully not too much, because that means our stealth mission's gone bad, but hopefully.
Fingers crossed. What could possibly go wrong in this stealth mission? And then next up, we have the ever lovely Janie.
Right, sorry. Hi, I'm Janie. I am playing Katie tonight, who is the spider.
And not joining us just yet, that we may see in the future, is the lovely Madam Gandalf, aka Alex, who normally plays Ari. We love you, Alex. If you're able to join us, that's great. And if not, you enjoy the rest of your evening, and you'll be seeing this in the future. Ooh. But last we left, our crew just decided to assail the Dr. Leonard Church Research Institute and assassinate the good doctor for several reasons. And as they began to infiltrate the complex as it currently was, Genevieve, a ghost and friend to Bishop, let them know that there were more trapped souls that were kept in the basement of this research complex. And Bishop decided to bring this to the attention of the team, who thought it best to split the team into two different groups going into the tower, one entering through the fourth floor window, and the other going down into the basement. The fourth floor team, made up of Culls, Nines, and Ari, managed to get in with a little bit of acidic issue taken by Cull, and managed to sneak around the upper levels, where they saw a new heavily armored bodyguard woman that they had never seen before, that was addressed by the name of Texas. Down in the basement, Bishop managed to get to the Vestial family, an entire family of ghosts and trapped souls that were kept in this basement. But upon getting the actual chest that contained these odd gems that they seemed to be trapped in, Cobalt, one of the team's rooks, was shot, it was Arctic. Arctic's the experienced one. Arctic, one of the team's rooks, was shot in the chest by what seemed to be Alizé Pentadragon. And I think we should probably pick up from there, right? So the barrel is smoking. Bishop, it's hard to really hear. There's a lot of ambient noise that's in this basement, just a lot of like beakers and tubes and water that's clearly running through the walls and pipes and stuff like that, and that all drowns out, and it's just like the blood in your ears pumping as the adrenaline starts pouring in your veins. You have a gun pointed at Miss Pentadragon, and I would like to offer a devil's bargain to both Katie and Bishop. Only one of you needs to take this, and it'll essentially say that Katie was waiting outside with Cobalt and will make her entrance right now.
Can I ask like an out of game question?
Sure.
Is Cobalt if Katie was out there, is Cobalt okay?
No.
Okay, that's fair.
No.
It was worth
She'd
asking.
be coming in now, but no, Cobalt Arctic got shot in the chest.
Okay, I'm not sure that's what I meant, but it's not that important. Go on.
Okay. Oh, are you asking that if Katie is out there, is Arctic is the brother that you left on lookout still also out there?
Yeah.
Yes,
Okay.
he is.
Okay. Yeah.
As a point of note, because I don't think either of you have ever you accepted one.
I did. That's why Alize is here.
Yes. But a devil's bargain is always resolved in the session that it was taken. So this won't be a problem in the future, but it will be a problem for right now.
Okay. I will say, Janie or Katie, it's ultimately up to you if you feel like you're willing to take it. If not, I will take it.
Katie will take it.
Okay. So Katie, outside on this sort of like fake AstroTurf turf type grass behind the Research Institute proper, you hear this loud like sound, and the air quickly fills with a smell of smoke almost that you just barely recognize as gunpowder, and you get sort of like just a chill down your spine of like something's wrong. So you decide to make your way in through the supply room and out into the very sterilized cobblestone hallway and across to a door that is mostly open, and you see a pink petticoat and two large pink pigtails and sort of aiming down a sniper rifle, and you hear Alize say, "Oh, I probably should have gone for the headshot, but then I would have made the tanks dirty, and that would have just been such a disaster. You know, like, it's hard enough to try and clean blood out of things, but then you add brains to the mix, and it becomes a protein stain, and it's just a mess. How are you?"
I can't imagine you're the one that cleans down here.
Oh, God, no. I've never cleaned anything, but when people clean things improperly, then it looks messy, and then I've got to kill more people, and it makes more stains. It's an exponential problem, you know?
Oh, yeah, of course. Yeah, I understand. My goal is to basically just keep stalling her.
Okay, as Katie sort of like Pink Panthers up behind her. Okay. And as you are sitting there, she says, "So what you doing? Why you down here?"
You know, the hideout is nice, but exploring new things can sometimes be nicer.
Mm-hmm.
Satiating of curiosity.
She sort of like nudges the barrel of the sniper rifle at your bag and says, like, just like points at it for a second and goes, "Where are you going with those?"
What, this old thing? You thrifted it like 2 years ago. I could probably check what company made it if you want.
I'm gonna need you to keep those soul gems where they are, Bishop. I'm so sorry. I get that you're on like a whole like ghost kick with like Genevieve and like the little squirt that she already freed, which I was gonna let go because I can get by with 7 soul gems, but with 8, I would have been able to do what I need to do a lot faster.
A good thing that you'll be able to get through it anyway because of your time nonsense. This has been rather uncool of you.
Oh,
To be blunt.
honey, you don't know how the whole time travel thing works, do you? Think I can just jump back and forth willy-nilly whenever I want? That'd be
Yes.
ridiculous. No. Why do you think I've been stuck here for so goddamn long?
Why should I believe anything you say to me anymore?
Because you're about to be dead, so I have no reason to lie to you?
I've got a gun just as well as you do.
Yeah, honey, this petticoat isn't just for show, though, and I've got armor-piercing bullets, so... And, Janie, I would say it's around this time that you are close enough to do something to Alize. What would you like to do?
I have a vial of slumber essence.
Okay. So you would like to use that. How are you using it? Are you like doing it like smelling salts and like putting it in front of her face, or are you just cracking the damn thing against the back of her head?
I am going to hold my breath, open the vial, and put my arm over her shoulder, like,
Yeah, as I see Katie, I will.
Okay. So
like, hey, how you doing, buddy?
in the blink of one eye, suddenly Katie's arm just throws around this woman, and immediately the vial is sort of like tipped back and splashes all onto her face and her clothes, and she manages to get you off of her, but is already teetering and says, well, that is not fair. That is cheating. And she just falls over into a heap onto the floor, sniper rifle sort of clattering against the ground.
Katie's going to kick aside, like carefully kick aside the gun.
Don't kick it, take it.
Okay, we got to tie her up.
Tie her up. I'm gonna kill her. Get back.
Okay. Katie's going to take the gun and just...
Sorry, I'll properly thank you for saving my life later, but I'm not good at this stuff. Yeah. I'm gonna wait, make sure that she's like actually out and not faking it.
I believe a vial of sleep essence is just much like the charming powder. You're just out. I'm fairly certain.
Yeah, but she's special, so I think I will take, a minute of caution. And so long as she appears asleep, I'm going to tell everybody not to look, and I am going to shoot her through the forehead at point blank.
So when you go to say, don't look, everybody, Genevieve goes, Bishop, what about Arctic?
We're going to bring Arctic out. I think he should be fine.
Clearly, but I think we should, bandage the wound or something first. I mean, she's out. She's sleeping.
How long is she going to stay out?
Let me see. Because I know that... No, well, we're treating it the same as the glamour powder. She's out for at least 8 hours.
Okay, so... Okay, I know a doctor, actually. My, contact on my sheet is a doctor.
Mm-hmm.
Named Melvier?
As soon as the voice of Genevieve sort of rings out through the basement, you begin to hear hurried footsteps, and Cobalt just rounds the corner, completely, almost doesn't even notice the rest of you, and just jumps over the table and goes over to his brother and is immediately just oh shit. And is immediately crouched over him, reaching into his pocket for things. And he looks up at you and says, you said you know a doctor?
Yeah, I do. Not the most professional doctor, but definitely good at this kind of stuff.
Okay, just give me an address.
The sheet doesn't have an address, so I give him the address. Yeah.
And you see him pull out this vial of orange, sort of burbling liquid that looks similar to everyone who was with Nines before you broke into the Thousand Island refinery. and he knocks it back, and you see the muscle sort of bulge for a second, and like veins appear around the eyes as he scoops his brother up in his arms and just starts like Usain Bolt, just dead on running out of the basement. And you presume heading to the area where you have sent him. I'm gonna make a roll, and we'll find out the fate of Arctic. Okay. So Cobalt disappears with Arctic in his arms and just like runs straight out without saying another word.
Okay.
And you two are, you three are left in the basement with these tanks of this. Katie, this is your first time seeing it, but you do see 8 more tanks that are like filled with this. It looks kind of like water, but more viscous, almost like a mix between water and mucus. But it is clear, and there are just 8 what look to be identical twins of the same person.
I was told that they look kind of like Alizé.
They do look
last session.
vaguely like
Yeah.
Alizé.
Are they alive?
Presumably.
Can't tell. They're completely submerged in whatever this liquid is, but you see no indication that they're breathing necessarily.
Well, this isn't right. Where do we turn this off?
Okay. I also think that we should like stop it, but I'm also afraid that turning it off might like let them all out. Or like wake them up. I don't know.
Are they like do they have the same thoughts?
I didn't know these were here until I got here today. I have never been this far back.
Can we turn it off, lock them in, and run?
I mean, we could try to lock them in, but anyone who works here would probably be able to unlock that. I guess I don't know. What is the electronic situation with these things, D?
You can make me a tinker check. And remember, you are in a disadvantaged position, so make that one.
Yeah, I know.
Can Katie
It's
help?
not gonna be me. It's not gonna be.
Or can Katie check?
Yeah, go for it. Make
Okay.
a tinker check. -1 die from your pool.
Right. I don't actually. I thought I saw on dice, but I have to roll a digital one. Got 3.
Okay. Yeah, y'all look at, there is like a small square that looks kind of like I don't know why I'm trying to speak in code here. It kind of looks like Alizé's cell phone, though your characters have only ever seen her cell phone. But you see a square that looks like that kind of screen. But
Well, can I push it?
Sure. You press the button on it, and the screen sort of comes to life, and it says "Locked. Please enter password." And there's a small keyboard that appears at the bottom.
I don't know how to pick a lock.
Well, I don't know if that lock is pickable in the same way that the ones we know are.
Well, will shooting it work?
Yeah, we could probably just break it.
Yeah.
Wait,
Okay.
will that set off an alarm? Don't do that yet. Everyone else is still upstairs.
Okay.
Trying to not use meta knowledge about like an iPad is really hard.
I'm just saying, can you shoot it?
I was gonna be like, we can just pour water into the charging port. We'll die eventually.
The glass. Is it glass vials or glass containers?
The front of them does appear to be some type of glass, yeah.
Or would we just shoot the glass?
I guess if it isn't bulletproof glass, it would shatter whatever that weird shit inside, like, it would spill out with the person.
Well, they must need it if they're in that. Like fish.
Well, do they appear to be breathing?
They don't. They are stock still. They don't appear to be moving at all.
They might just need that to not need to like perform basic human functions. But once it's gone, they might.
Are there any books in the room or anything that give me any information on what's?
Yeah, there's a couple different folders that are spread across different tables that look very similar to the ones that you've looked through from this institute before.
Can I look at those, please?
Sure. Go ahead and make me a study check. And you are at a disadvantaged position, so go ahead and roll -1 die to that.
That means no dice.
So go ahead and roll a disadvantage.
That's a 4. The first one was a 4. The second one was a 5. So 4.
Okay.
Nice.
As you sort of sift through this folder, it is dense, and there is a lot of very scientific information that references a lot of things that you have never even heard of. There's reference to nanobiologic technology. There's reference to a chemical that's called oh goodness, so sorry, 1 second. There's reference to a chemical that's called element 99. There's reference to all manner of different technical terms that you've never really heard of. There are certain things that are underscored, and from what you read about things like element 99 and X13 and et cetera, the people who are working with it don't exactly understand it either. It appears to be something that was brought back from Alizé's time period, and that is being used in these experiments. But from what you do manage to gather, you manage to scrum together enough things that you do recognize and understand. These are clones or doppelgangers or something. They're all based on a woman named Allison, who apparently was someone important. It's not entirely clear. She's referenced very sparsely throughout the documents that you are reading. But this is a research project that was personally given to the top researchers in the entire institute by Dr. Church. They were redirected to work on this project. If you all remember from the second episode, there was some mention of people being pulled from R&D to work on something else, and this was apparently what that project was. And you see that most of the things down here appear to be being made for... I'm so sorry, give me 1 second. It appears to be being made for and funded by something called Aperture Technology. That seems to be the name of a company. And that's the most that you can glean from this research profile. There is nothing. Since you were looking for something specific, I will also say that there is mention that the liquid that they sit in, this sort of viscous mucus type liquid, is filled with antibiotics and proteins and nutrients, and also infused with oxygen, which is what gives it its clear tone. And it's essentially everything they need to stay alive in stasis.
I was
Okay.
right.
Yeah. So I'm going to take papers and I'm going to put them in my bag.
Okay.
Like every paper I can find.
Sure.
I want to take. Are the vats, are they open or are they closed?
No, they're completely closed.
Okay. Okay. I want to destroy this research, but
Okay.
I want to get like a little bit of it in one of my makeup bottles, just so that I have some leverage.
I have an idea.
Yeah.
You want to open like all 8 of those, right?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I want to destroy this research and take a sample so that we have leverage.
Well,
Also, as a point, sorry, I found my notes. There are 7 closed containers with bodies in them. The 8th one has the name Texas above it and is open.
so if we need to shoot all of these to open them, that's 8 bullets. Then if we're gonna, if the things inside are alive and we have to put them down, that's like 8 more bullets.
Okay.
But this is kind of fucked up, but what if we made the kids scream? It might shatter the glass.
Okay. Let me try it.
Genevieve looks at you and goes, yes, that is tremendously fucked up. She's also not here. She's with Nines' brother.
Oh.
Listen, we don't even... Why are we assuming that these people will attack us? I mean, the Vestials are being held here against their will. Just because whoever they are is here doesn't mean that they're aligned with the doctor.
Well, the Vestials weren't created by the company. These were.
Okay, let's do this. Let's I wish I knew how to work this thing, because we could open it up, tie them up, and put them in a room and see how they wake up.
It doesn't say how to unlock it in the files anywhere.
I'll look again.
Now I need to ask this in modern terms. When Alize unlocks her phone in the past, is it with a password or a thumbprint?
Thumbprint.
Does the other one have a thumbprint?
It does not. It asks for a password.
Okay.
Is there
a pin
manual?
I could try possessing one of the bodies.
Is that gonna hurt you?
It won't hurt me.
I
mean, most people don't really like it for obvious reasons,
law?
But
so you want to try to like possess it and see if it has like thought?
Yeah, maybe talk to her or something.
And you'll be okay if you do that?
I mean, unless they have access to some really powerful magic while in that casket.
It's not like she's gonna die. Already did that.
What's the worst that could happen?
I don't know, that AI thing could happen.
Okay, well now I'm scared.
Sorry. Go ahead, do it, and we won't let it happen to you.
Okay. Okay. This should be fine. And you see Genevieve sort of like walks up to the tube and then passes through it, and you see she phases into the body And for a second, there's nothing. It spasms, shakes, and the eyes open, and they're electric blue. And we're going to check in on the 4th floor team. So, Ari has just put her hand out and stopped y'all from continuing to walk into the open hallway. And y'all hear the mention of an Agent Texas by the higher level research member whose name I still don't think you have heard somehow magically, despite this being like the 4th time that y'all have run into this woman. Yeah, y'all are standing in betwixt this now empty hallway. Where would you like to go? You're on the 4th floor, and there are 10 floors.
You said the stairways are locked with those special locks, right?
That was the information your rooks gave you, yeah.
Yeah.
Well, it's not one of those things.
Gonna have to get our hands on one.
Well, we do know one person in particular who likely has a box that we've seen. That head research woman lady that we just saw going to that door. Perhaps we take it off of her?
No, sounds like a plan.
Yeah.
Right.
Knock her out or something?
I don't believe I have any more charming powder, so...
Yeah, I meant with...
Oh, right, yes, just bash her over the head. Sure, that works. Many ways to skin a cat, as they say.
Gross.
And Ari sort of like moves around to the rear and lets one of you two take the lead. She went into the door that was at the end of the hall. If y'all wanted to start making your way over there, everybody make me a prowl check, and I'll make one for Ari. When I say everybody, I mean the 4th floor team as well. Oh, okay. Okay, Ari. Ari said, fuck that disadvantage. I'll just roll double 6s.
Yeah,
Roll 4.
Off, queen. Okay, so you all managed to start, dun-in, 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 your way down the corridor. And as you approach this door, you see that above it, it says, oh, I'm so sorry. You see that it says aperture, what is the word? Not offshoot. Aperture Satellite Office 3. This door is not locked.
Gonna have to do this fast.
What? Break through the door, and then I just chokehold.
Pretty
I can
much.
Make sure the door's closed behind us.
Yeah. I can do that.
Make sure an alarm doesn't sound quickly.
Yeah, I'll do it quick.
All right, shall we?
Mm-hmm.
And with that, Nines, you just kick the door in, and you and Cull both charge in as Ari slams it shut behind you and starts looking at the doors to see if there is a way to lock it. Both of you make me a survey check to see how much of this room you can take in while keeping your momentum going. Okay.
Yeah, I rolled a 1.
Okay. I will put a devil's bargain on the table since this is very important. Either one of you can accept it, and I will give you, at the very least, a body count of how many people are in this room.
Yes.
Okay.
Well, I'm down to take it.
So, Nines, as soon as you enter, you clock 2 people, and you just like essentially, like, since Call is like full like tunnel vision, trying to get into the room as quickly as possible, you nudge Call in the direction of one of them as you go for the main woman in charge, and she just like is like, she's not even like reacting, she's just completely frozen, she's taken so off guard. And y'all both tackle these people. Go ahead and make me a skirmish roll with no disadvantage if you would have it. Okay,
4.
5 and a 4. All right, you managed to Call, you grab this person, and in the process of like wrangling them, their head just like bats against a metal cabinet and they are out like a light. And Nines, you manage to get a hold of this woman, and you just like, you put pressure on a point in her neck, and she just like starts to fade almost immediately and is limp in your arms, unconscious.
I just Vulcan death grip her.
Essentially, yeah. And with that, y'all sort of, you take a second to look around. You, from behind you, hear Ari go, "Whoa." And y'all take a second to look at the center of this room, and there's this large circular metal plate in the center of which this blue light is coming from. And there's you as players would know, a hologram of what looks like the entirety of the city of Duskfall. And there are about 14 red dots that are moving around a map of Duskfall. And you see that there is a large cluster of dots that would be in the approximate position of this research building.
Out of character, would it be approximately 8 of those dots?
Yes, in fact.
Interesting. Good to know.
What is this? It's almost like it's projecting light, but making pictures.
Like shadow puppets, maybe.
Yes, like shadow puppets.
Is it like a map?
That's what it seems to be, a map of the city, no less. And you see that Ari sort of like kneels down and looks, and at the bottom there is a quick scribbling that says aperture engineering at the bottom. And yeah. Well, does she have the box on her? I actually don't want to be in here for very long. It is making me...
I start digging through her pockets.
You rifle through her pockets, and you do find in one of them that there is this small black box that has a keyhole in the center of it.
Do I find anything else interesting on her?
You find an ID card that is not for her. The name has been whited out, like painted over almost. And the picture is just like a blank person. There's not an actual picture there.
Oh, I'll get that.
Okay. Yeah, there are several buttons and levers and switches that are sort of built into these tables that surround this disc with the map of Duskfall in the center. And y'all can... What do you do next? You have this box in your position now. In fact, now that you have this box in your position and Alizé has been dealt with, I would say you're officially no longer in a disadvantaged position, and you are back to a neutral position. So you're no longer subtracting die from your pools, but you do still have no bonuses as of yet.
Can I just keep a mental image of that map and how many dots are on it?
Sure. So total, there are 22 dots.
Okay.
8 are localized to this building, and 14 are sort of moving around Duskfall.
And it's just the map itself that kind of got his attention.
For sure.
Yeah, we need to get out of here. I don't think we have much time with that soldier running around.
Yeah. Are there any like folders just like out on table or anything?
Yeah, there are.
I'm just gonna swipe them in my bag. Not even looking, just full hand brush them in. Deal with it later.
Take down a note that you have an Aperture Satellite research notes.
Cool. I'm gonna hand the box to Cole. I think he knows more about it than I do thus far.
Yeah.
Cole, once this box is in your hands, you replicate what you saw, pulling out the small clay ball, essentially, that turns into a key as it gets closer to the box. You insert it into the box, and a voice comes from the box and says, "Please select key floor configuration. Key currently configured for floor 1. Select key configuration."
4.
Key configured for floor 4. Enjoy your day. And the key sort of like, it's almost like something pushes the key out of the box, and it turns back into a small circular cube of clay.
Weird.
Very. Hopefully there's not a person trapped in that one as well. Issues for later.
Yeah.
We should probably get to the stairs just in case. Ooh, do we want to tie these two up, or should we just leave them be?
Can I lock this room? Well, they might still be able to yell for help.
We can gag them at least.
Yeah.
All right. But I do believe I brought. Yes. And you see that she pulls out 50 feet of rope, which would have been in her burglaring kit, and uses it to tie both the hands and arms. And yeah, y'all exit that room.
He's gonna lock the door, like on the way out. He's just gonna lock the room.
Okay. As you lock the door, you begin to hear heavy footsteps coming from around the corner at the other end of the hall.
Okay, so keeping in mind the blueprints we saw, like of the building, from where we are, where's the stairwell up?
There would be a set of stairs up behind you, and also another one at the other end of the hall. There are 2 flight paths, and they are both at both ends of the building, and they sort of like go up consecutively. Oh, that was not a word. They go up parallel to each other, basically.
It's a word now.
Exactly. Yes. It's a word in the world of Maneas.
We need to hurry. Yeah. So head to that flight of stairs that's closest to us.
All right. So you guys turn and start walking your way back down and up the stairs. Nines, make me a survey check as you round the corner.
Sure thing, bestie. I'm so good at looking with my special eyes.
Right?
I got a 3.
Okay. You continue around the corner and make your way to the stairs. Cole, the door opens easily enough with your newly found key. And the stairway, there's a weird quietness to the stairway where it's at you know how like in a hospital the stairway's like weird and like sort of eerie. It's almost that kind of vibe as you ascend to the whatever floor you would like. Honestly, stairs lead up from here. There's not separate stairs for every single floor.
Yeah, go up as high as we can.
Okay. You do see that as a point of note that the fourth floor is, as I mentioned last session, fourth floor is research and development. As you go past, the fifth floor is communications. The sixth floor is medical R&D. The seventh floor is weapons grade technology. The eighth floor is magical objects. And the ninth floor, which is where the stairs stop, does not have a name label.
What floor was this sarcophagus on when we had gotten it?
The ninth.
Interesting.
You know from the blueprints that there is apparently a 10th floor, but there are no stairs that go up to it, it seems.
We'll have to go in and through here and hope this way up.
It's gotta be.
Worst comes to worst, we do what we
Make
did.
way.
Do what we did at the jewelry shop.
Exactly.
And just break through the floor.
Get our way through anything. Anyone else getting weird chills in this stairway?
It's not a great stairway.
Yes. Bit tacky as well. Katie will hate it. All right. And as you all push into the and you've had to you pull the box back out and the clump of clay, and you reconfigure the key to floor number 9, and it takes it a second. The clay key is stuck in there for a second. It accepts the request for floor 9 and just processes for a while, like 2 to 3 minutes, and then spits the key out and says, "Thank you for your time." And you see that what was once just a circle of clay now has blue lines etched up and down it. And in every blue line that sort of glows, you see this black dot that's sort of like tracing down and around the blue lines of the key.
This place is just getting weirder.
Yeah, it's a more secure level, I guess.
More than likely. Even what they have in there. I had in there.
And it's around this time that you hear about 5 floors below you, you hear a door kick open, and you hear a very angry voice say, "There's someone in the building. I'm getting to the director." And you hear quick footsteps up the stairs.
I was quicker than I thought.
Yeah.
And
Let's go.
I open the door.
All right, y'all push into the 9th floor, and it is like, did Cull or Nines ever read sci-fi literature in their youth or in their leisure time in general?
Nines doesn't read.
Okay.
Probably not like fictional stuff. He probably read like historical.
Okay. So as y'all step out as players, you recognize this as being a scene out of almost like RoboCop. Everything is overly sleek and smooth, and the walls are metal, and the doors look like modern day office doors, and everything in here looks like some of the laboratories that you've been in. And as you close the door behind you, Ari says, maybe we should try and lock this one behind us.
Yeah.
And you stick the key in and lock the door, and buying yourself hopefully a little bit more time. The footsteps are coming closer. There are 8 doors, 4 on each side of this hallway, and 1 door at the very end.
And there's no blueprints for this floor or the one above it, right?
For this floor, there are blueprints, but nothing is named. This is the floor that was recently under construction in the blueprints. And then the 9th and 10th floors both have like no strict it's not that there's not a layout for the 9th floor, it's just not labeled. Like, you know, the rough size, they're all box shaped rooms, but there was no
detailing.
Right.
Do we try to get to the director first, or do we just hide in a room?
Then seems like we're gonna have to confront whoever the hell that is eventually.
I think it might be. She said she was going to the director, so I think maybe it'd be a better idea to let her get there first, so she's not at our backs. She doesn't seem like someone we want getting the jump on us.
And then which way to go to get to the director?
Also that, yes.
It's a random door?
Yeah, we can at least check. And I'll open one of the doors. Probably the one closest to us on the left, I guess.
On the left?
Why are you smiling?
I gotta roll. Okay. So you open the door on the left-hand side and you push into that room, and it's cold in here, like weirdly cold, and it's completely dark as you close the door behind you. Both of you just roll me a d6 and tell me what you get.
6.
4.
Okay. So 9s with a 6. As you step into here, just instinctually, you sort of reach out to a wall to like gain your footing since it's pitch black in here. And you feel something click under your hand as you flip up a light switch. And the entire room is suddenly illuminated by these very long, low humming light bulbs, fluorescent lights. And you see in the center of this room, there's a suit of armor, but it is sleek and smooth, and all the edges are rounded. It is blue and gold traced up and all around it. And there are a couple of tables that are around this area, and there are folders if you'd like to flip through them, but in the center there's just this very sleek, sort of bulky looking suit of armor with a golden visor.
I'm walking up to that motherfucker.
Okay. You walk up to it, and the inside seems to have like padding. It's very, very nice. And it doesn't seem to be made of like metal though. It has a metallic sheen to it, but it doesn't seem to be made of metal.
Hypothetically, could 9s hypothetically fit in it?
Looking at this, it's honestly, despite 9s being tall and bulky, It's a little too big on Nines. Can you roll me a study check?
Yeah, I do. I'm so good at those. That's a 5.
With a 5, you do get the idea that Nines does have something that makes him slightly bulkier.
You really want to risk that right now? Well, and again,
What? We were waiting, right, for
yeah.
them to pass on by, and they're in one like this, right?
You hear a loud and the creaking of metal from down the hall.
They can do that, and that can do maybe that.
And it's the same kind of armor?
The design looks similar, yeah.
Mm-hmm. You're right. Could just give us an advantage.
The advantage is something. Probably not the stealthiest thing,
Likely not.
but they already know we're here.
How familiar are you all with Nordic mythology? Ari says, sort of holding up a stack of papers.
That's the one
Well,
with the ravens, right?
Yes, technically, that is correct, yes. Apparently, this is called Mjolnir Armor. It's along the Mark 5, or Iteration 5, from what I can tell.
Does it say anything else about it? That makes sense.
Let's see. I can't figure out most of it, but those two things are the headers on the page, so
Oh.
know that for sure.
Yeah, if you put that on, you're gonna have to go in there first.
I'm fine with that.
And you hear as the door is broken off the hinges, and you can hear it down, and the footsteps run right past your room, just all the way down the hall. And you hear a very muffled voice saying something that you can't really make out. And then there's no more noise. Is Nines putting on the Mjolnir armor?
Yeah, I'll help him put it on.
Yeah.
So Nines, as you are putting on just the boots of this armor, you can no longer move your feet.
Great.
Like you are like straining to pull one leg up off of the ground. You get the sense that you're probably going to have to take your rage essence to even move in this suit.
You know, that's fine. I'll do it.
All right. So you down your drugs, and you feel your form swell a little bit, and you stand up a little taller, and you get that look in your eye.
Other question for you.
Absolutely.
Since I just took the advancement not to be trifled with, which means I can push myself to do one of the following, which is and one of them is perform a feat of physical force that verges on superhuman.
Sounds pretty good. You suit up, and with the rage essence bolstering behind you, you can fight in this. You already were better at taking a punch than dodging them anyway. So you're not the most agile, but you're movable. Cull, inside this armor, Nines is about 7 foot tall.
Okay, Cole is examining this armor and thinking about the armor of the other person.
Mm-hmm.
Is this just like straight solid suit of armor? Is there anywhere a blade can go in?
There are different joints that look like they would allow for like softer points at like the elbows and in between where the hips are and stuff like that. But a cursory glance through the folder lets you know that whatever the polymer that this stuff is made out of is supposed to be highly blade resistant.
Okay.
It appears to be made out of a lot of stuff that these people probably shouldn't have access to.
Yeah, he's just assessing the armor for like structural integrity, like weak points.
Pretty solid. And Ari sort of like peeks out the door for a second and says, well, wherever she disappeared to, she's certainly gone.
I would assume it's the door at the end of the hallway. That seems the most dramatic of the ones.
That's what I was going to say, is it seems dramatically appropriate, yes. Then shall we go?
Yeah. Kill, yeah.
Y'all step back out into the hallway. Do you try any other doors or look into any other rooms, or do you just go straight for the door in the back?
Well, we're on a mission.
Okay.
I'd love to look in these other rooms.
Y'all beeline for that back door, and as you approach it, you realize that there is no handle and no keyhole. Who's walking in front? I would imagine it's the one in the giant armor.
Yeah.
So as you approach the door, there's this blue light that begins to scan up and down, and a woman appears right next to that blue light that says, "Good morning, Agent Omega. I was under the impression that you were still in stasis. Please relay to me when you were reactivated so that I may update my records." Apologies, she would not have said Omega, she would have said Agent Main.
About 5 minutes ago, heard there was an emergency.
Understood. Records updated. Agent Texas did inform us that there are apparently intruders in the room. Hopefully, you will be able to quickly neutralize them and return to stasis.
That's the goal.
Thank you for your cooperation. And the woman disappears, and the door slides open. And flying out of the room, there's just a blur of black and gold as Tex just decks your shit, and you go skidding backwards a couple feet and take 1 point of stress damage. And she looks like, you can't see facial features because she's wearing a full helmet, but the gold visor just looks at you, Cull, and says, "You're in luck. He wants to talk to you." And she just stomps past and says, "But he only needs to talk to one of you." And is just like making his way over to Nines, who's like just now staggering back to their feet. And that is where we're going to take our break for the evening. And we will be back very soon with the second half of episode 7 of Blue Ghost Rising Actions. Hopefully you will be able to get up, get you a drink, get you some snacks so you can come back and be comfortable for the dramatic conclusion of our penultimate episode. And we will see you all in a bit. Bye. Hello and welcome back to the second half, episode 7 of Blue Ghost Rising Actions. If you are just joining us, thank you for the raid, Vancouver by night. The team has just recently decided to ascend the steps of the Dr. Leonard Church Research Institute. While amongst there, they ran into an interesting bodyguard by the name of Texas, apparently, and Nines donned a very large set of power armor in order to try and keep up. But before we get into all of that, there are things that are happening in the basement of this research institute. And I would say at this point, there's no need to describe it on camera. Bishop, you put one in the dome of the most annoying girl you've ever met. And yeah, she's certainly not moving.
So the eyes opened, right?
The eyes in the tank did open, yes.
All right.
And you see that there is a moment of very conscious thrashing and looking from Katie to you. But eventually it peters off and they sort of float there calmly.
Can you hear us in there?
She nods.
And do you understand?
She nods. She looks around for a second. And then looks.
Only yes or no questions? Okay.
She nods.
Do you know where you are?
Shakes her head no.
Do you know your own name?
She goes to answer and pauses for a second. Raises a hand and does this.
Okay. Are you being held here against your will?
She shrugs.
Okay.
And then begins to convulse and look like she's going to vomit. And you see blue wisps just pour out of her mouth through the glass, and Genevieve sort of rematerializes next to the pair of you, looking shaken.
You all right, bud?
Yeah. That was just a lot.
Can you feel as she feels?
Yeah, but she doesn't. I don't know. It's weird. She's almost like a fragment.
I think that. All right, hear me out. So all of them look kind of like Alizé, right?
Uh-huh.
So Alizé is from the future, though. So I think that Texas is Alizé, but from the future and then came back. And I think that they're all maybe blank slates of people for the use of the company or something like that, because Alizé was clearly with them.
Something that I found while going through her head when you asked her what her name was, the name that jumped to her mind was Allison, not Alizé. But then for some reason she felt like that wasn't right.
Oh, I know what they did. Okay.
Was right? I don't know. And this funnily enough, which tube is this? Is this The one right next to the open one, Texas, would have been Carolina.
I would say that that's your choice because you're Genevieve. So.
Okay, sure. Then we'll just say it's just the next one down the line, and it's Carolina. And she's just sort of looking around, and Genevieve says, I don't know. There were fragments of a lot of things.
Did Katie share the information that she read in the files with us?
I would think she would have.
Okay. So then we know who Allison is. They cracked that woman's soul into 9 pieces and made copies of her. That has to be it. I don't know how they did it, but there they are.
Apparently.
Is the one that was possessed conscious now?
Oh yeah.
And it's under the water, and is it still in the tank?
Yes, she's still in the liquid.
Okay, so that's not keeping them asleep.
No, it just keeps them alive, like vitals and stuff.
But what's keeping them asleep?
I don't know.
Because if we could figure that out, we could get some of it and like knock them out.
I can look around.
Yeah, Katie's gonna look around.
Genevieve, did it feel bad in her head? Like, did she feel bad?
It was weird. There were memories, but the only memories were like her as a child drawing things, or her as a, like a teenager, like trying to write music or play instruments or writing poetry. Just lots of memories like that. And anytime, it almost felt like she couldn't feel everything, every emotion. And you see that Carolina is currently like looking around the tank and sort of like reaches up and feels all around the top of the tank, and reaches down and feels the bottom of the tank, and the brow sort of furrows like she's thinking.
Question, you said they all are similar, but do they all look just alike?
They all look exactly alike.
Oh, yeah,
they
exactly.
look similar to Alize.
I really think they did like put they butchered this lady's soul, and they all have like a different part of her.
Okay. I am looking around. What was I forgot what I was looking around for that fast.
Something that could put her back to sleep, potentially.
Yeah, I'm looking around for something that can put her back to sleep.
Go ahead and roll me a survey check.
I gotta roll that at disadvantage. I don't have any dots in it for some reason.
Okay.
I can help you look for whatever you're looking for.
Okay, I appreciate that.
I have a dot in survey, so I'll roll also. 6.
Okay.
So done with that disadvantage. Thank God.
Okay. I got 3.
Okay.
Oh, I got the disadvantage. Sorry. No, I got
All
1.
good. Bishop, as you're looking around and taking a second to try and go through all this stuff, there doesn't appear to be like an anesthetic or anything like that kept in this room or the supply room that you start to go through. What you do find, however, is another folder This one is it looks to be the planning stages of this experiment before the experiment itself properly started. And this is called Project Cortana. And as you sort of flip through it, your theory is confirmed. There was a test subject by the name of Allison Pendydragon that was donated by the Aperture Bioengineering Company to the Dr. Leonard Church Research Institute. They are purposefully kept hey, you finally got it, Ryan. They are purposefully, that's why this campaign is named this. They are purposefully kept vague as far as the when and how this body was transferred, but with your knowledge of Alizé Pendydragon, you would assume that this is one of the things that Aperture Science sent back to as a part of whatever research deal they have. And Allison was kept alive and experimented on, and she was mentally fractured into 9 separate pieces that were just given letters of the Greek alphabet, starting at Alpha and all the way down to Omega. And then she was cloned, or at least the plan was to clone her. Unfortunately, she had passed before the it doesn't say the context of how, just says that test subject expired before the cloning could be begun. So in order to supplement the biological tissue that they needed to finish the cloning process, her daughter Alizé Pendydragon was sent back to this time period to supplement any missing genomes in the DNA sequencing.
Firstly, I will relay this information to Katie and Genevieve.
Just gonna make a roll real quick. Okay.
So in a way, I understand, because these are all parts of her mother. So, of course, she'd freak out. Not that everything else Alizé did isn't horrible, but it contextualizes it. The rest of them, though, if we leave them here, the company is just going to use them like more lab rats. Like they needed Alizé's DNA to like finish their process.
You hear a knocking on the glass, and Carolina stares at you when you say that the company will continue to experiment. She shakes her head no and does this.
Like they'll kill you? Do you want out? Are you gonna double cross us? All right.
We're telling the truth if she was.
Y'all can make me a survey check.
Okay, let me do it.
It landed on the floor. It was a good roll, but it landed on the floor, so I'll do it again.
Badge.
5.
Okay. 5's pretty solid.
2.
2, okay. With a 5, Bishop, you don't get the sense that she really is interested in sticking anywhere around here.
Yeah, that would make a lot of sense. I'm gonna look at Carolina. Do you know how to open that thing?
And she like looks down and like points down and does this as she points down at the like bottom of the thing.
Bottom of the tank.
Yeah. You go over to it and like inspect it, and you do see that there is the same latch that says Aperture Bioengineering on it opens, and there's just like a whole mess of cables down there.
And that's from the inside?
No.
That's from the outside.
That is on the outside, yes.
So I say like, I cut them?
And you can see that she's trying to get an angle where she can see, but she can't. And she just like frustrated, just goes like, and nods.
Okay. I don't know if I necessarily have scissors, but is there something I could use around here to break?
Bishop
Katie has the knife.
Yeah. Katie,
Oh, okay, that works.
Yeah, I got knives.
Go ahead.
Oh, you want me to do it?
I can do it if you want also, but it is your knife, so I'm giving you priority.
Okay. Katie just sliced it, like.
All right, you grab the thick bundle of cords, and it takes you a second. You almost have to like saw through these very thick, heavy electrical cables. But as it does, the entire the light inside the tank like flickers for a second, and you hear a voice emit from the chamber that says, "Attention, Chamber 002 is currently in a low power state. Please open and retrieve the subject before attaching to generator. Attention, subject 002 is currently in a low power state," and it just continues to say this not super quietly.
We gotta go.
We gotta open the rest of them.
And as that happens, you see that inside the tank, Carolina puts both of her hands on the glass and pushes, and you can hear something like begin to bend and creak as she grits her teeth and the muscles flex, and the door from the inside sort of pops open and breaks a little bit as this thick liquid starts to pour out of the tube down into this little drain at the bottom. As she pushes it open, tries to push it open the rest of the way.
Do I have any time to grab any of the liquid up, or is it going this on the
Yeah,
inside?
you would be able to. It's because there's a lot, so it's like glug, glug.
Okay.
Glug.
Yeah.
Open the rest of them. We got to get rid of. They can't be here. We need
to
destroy everything. They can't have the clones. They can't have any of this stuff.
People are gonna come soon. That's a loud announcement.
Yeah, we have to hurry.
Okay.
As
Right,
Carolina steps out of the tube, she just like bends over the drain pipe and just like a huge amount of this liquid just comes out of her mouth and throat. What were you saying?
I was gonna say I can probably take like a piece of like the glass or something, and you can take the knife, and we can cut through the others, hopefully.
Okay, and Miss who just got out of there, can you help us too, please? Thank you.
She's puking. Maybe
Carolina.
let her puke it out.
Carolina wipes her mouth and stands up and says, "You don't have to break the rest of them. Phyllis, awaken the rest of the freelancers." And you hear that voice again come and say, "Authorization override. Authorization overridden. Alizé Pentadragon voice match recognized. Awakening the rest of the test subjects." And the doors begin to crackle, hiss, and open. And you see Carolina just disappears. She literally just walks out of the room.
Is she going out like the exit of the building? Oh yeah, because the basement doesn't connect to the rest of the building.
It looks like she's going into one of the other rooms in the basement.
Okay.
We need to get out of here.
we need to get all of them out of here.
This fluid is starting to like stick to the bottom of your shoes because there's so much of it coming
Yeah.
and draining at
Well,
one point.
okay. I still gotta put one in Alize. So, like I said before, don't look, but she can't be left to walk free. You understand?
I'm going to the other room following the person.
All right.
And Katie just walks off.
Alright. And,
I'll take care of it,
Okay.
and I'm gonna take her shit.
All right. You rifle through your pockets. You find a Hello Kitty pocketbook that has only credit cards, and Bishop has no idea what those are. No physical money, and a couple of pictures of her like at a giant park with like metal construction rod. It's an amusement park. There are a couple of pictures of her at Disney World, essentially,
Okay.
where she's just like posing.
Not the Disney adults.
Exactly. And she doesn't keep much else. You do take her cell phone off of her. And you also, Katie has a sniper rifle with her. She doesn't really carry much else on her. It looks like femme clothes from the future like don't have pockets or something. It's really weird.
On a scale of like one to please don't do that, how bad would it be? Actually, I can't even say it. It's so fucked up. I'd rather just suffer later. Well, oh god.
I mean, taking her thumb is
okay.
something
Yeah,
that
you read
could-
my mind. Yeah. Okay.
If you would like to.
I'm gonna take it. Yeah.
But you do have to write it down in your notes that you have Alize's thumb. So, it's around this point that all of the other clones are like retching up and looking very distraught. Katie, you almost bump into Carolina when she comes back out of the room she had just entered with 7 lab coats in her hands and 1 over herself as well. So 1 over herself and 6 lab coats like thrown over her arm. And she enters the room and like starts wrapping all the other clones up in lab coats so they're not completely naked.
Okay, we really need to get out of here.
Yeah, we need to go now.
And you see the other clones look very confused, and Carolina just goes, all right, form up, follow me, I'll explain. Right? You trust me, you trust yourself, us, we, yes, trust, follow me. And you see one looks like a little scared but starts to follow. There are a couple that all of them follow behind Carolina as she leads them out. And she turns and looks to you two, looks at the corpse on the floor, and then says, why are you here?
Honestly, we just came to get something, and then she came to kill me for trying to take it. But it's something that they were keeping here, like people that were subjected to a similar process as you were, and we just want to get them out.
She like nods a little and says, what's your name?
Bishop.
She wipes a hand on the lab coat.
Olive, don't worry about it. Olive.
And says, Agent or Carolina. Just Carolina.
Just Carolina.
Can you help us, Carolina?
All right.
I thought you would be on the way out if all you came here for is whatever you
we have
in your bag.
Well, yeah,
I'm
yeah, we
research as much as I can so they can't do this anymore. And we need to make sure everyone is out that deserves to be out.
Well, on that front, I've got bad news for you, but this isn't the only place this is happening.
What do you mean?
I mean, this isn't the only Matrix Research Institute in the world.
Well, how many are there?
Hell if I know. Was never a part of my debriefing.
Who's your superior?
My superior officer, I mean, I don't think you would know them, but it's Colonel Amy Santos. Yeah, I didn't think you'd...
Okay. No, I'll find out.
Also, I'm going to ask a weird question because my memory is, well, split into 8 different sections at the moment. But what year is it? Y'all will know that the current year of the world is 362 PMD.
362 PMD.
Great.
Do you know how to work this thing? And I hold up Alize's phone.
Oh, yes. And actually, could I see that?
Will you give it back?
Yes. If I have to give it back, I might need it for a bit then.
What year did you think it was?
Last I checked, it was 2115.
It should hypothetically have the date. If it is an iPhone, it should have the date in the front display.
I mean, it says Wednesday the 26th, but like the year's not on the display.
Oh, you're right. It isn't. I guess we should go somewhere else to do all of this.
Well, we need to do whatever that she needs to do to that machine, and then we need to go somewhere else. Correct.
Well, the machine can move, right? I mean,
Yeah.
Alize carried it around everywhere.
Okay.
If the research is gone and we're gone, that's as disadvantaged as this place is gonna get.
Are there any more of you in this building? Any more?
I think there's one more. And with that, the camera will cut up through the different floors of the tower to Nines, who is just shakily standing up as Tex in her black and gold power armor is walking up to you and says, "You know, I'm surprised that you can actually fit into that."
Oh, what does that mean?
Well, most people aren't tall enough.
Well, you'd be surprised.
And with that, she just comes at you with a pair of kicks. Go ahead and roll a skirmish check for me.
I would absolutely love to. We're in a neutral.
Yep, neutral.
That is a 4.
Okay, so with a 4, you just managed to you don't even deflect the attack off of her. You just take it, and the armor does well enough to defend from it hurting too much. And you go for your own strike, which she ducks underneath, and it's almost like this person seems to be trained in very many fighting forms, and she ducks underneath like a boxer and goes for an uppercut. Go ahead and roll me another skirmish check.
That's a 6.
Okay. With a 6, describe how you dodge this punch and then retaliate.
I'm gonna basically do the same thing that she just did, except I'm gonna duck under and then I'm gonna do a leg sweep.
Okay.
Yeah,
And
try to get her off balance.
You take her feet out from under her, and instinctively she puts a hand out, steadies herself, and then just uses the momentum of moving upward to put her feet on the ceiling, and they stick. And she turns and crosses her arms upside down at you and says, Interesting.
Yeah, now you're just like a punching bag, and I'm just gonna sock her.
All right, go for it. Roll me the skirmish check.
That's another 6.
Okay. You go to swing and she leans back and you miss. But as you're sort of like swinging with one hand out, you just take that momentum and spin on your heel. And with a back fist, you just clock her upside the head. And she tumbles backwards off of the ceiling and goes, okay, done. And she stands up and pulls out this small little like handle, it looks like. And she squeezes her fists around it, and this two beams of light just into existence as she goes, let's try this again. And she rushes towards you with this sword in hand. That's going to add another die to her skirmish pool.
Great, love it. Love to see it.
Okay, that is a 6. So she goes up towards you and you try and like tuck in your guard, just relying on your boxing training. And she takes the sword and it cuts, and the sensation is weird. It's almost like hot vibrations running through your entire abdomen as this armor is deeply grazed, and you can feel some of your blood pouring, not pouring, but you can feel some of your blood seeping into the gap in the armor. And you sort of stumble back, and suddenly you hear the voice from the door echo through the hall, and it says, "Excuse me, freelancers, but all training missions are meant to be taken place in Aperture Satellite Station number 4. That is not at this designated location. This area is not fit for combat training." And after she sort of stands up, Texas goes, "Shut up, Phyllis!" And she is just there waiting for the next swing. But before we get to that, Cull and Ari, you were invited into this dark room. And as you step in, which I will assume you do, you see the very tired old visage of a man sat in an office chair looking at a TV screen. And he's just sort of like hands to his face, and he's looking at what appears to be him and Layla, and there's very excited chattering going on between the two of them. It says, well, how exactly does it work? I mean, it records everything, but the process is, what was that word? Digital? It's all not physical. It doesn't take up any space. It doesn't take up any reel, but it captures our images. It's amazing. Where do they even begin researching this kind of thing? And you hear Church respond from the video, "Well, that's what we're supposed to be finding out, dearest. Now, if you want to get back to it instead of posing in front of that thing, maybe we'll find a breakthrough of our own, huh?" And you see the very wide grin, freckled face, long red hair pulled back so it doesn't get into her eyes. He goes, right, yeah. I'm just one more second. And the video is paused on that face of like focus as she fiddles with the camera. And the voice calls out to you and says, "Welcome, Mr. Cull, I think it was, right? And Madam Ari. It's good to see you both again." So, what is the reason that you've been making a mess of my former laboratory?
Good job.
Interesting. And I would suppose that the details of this job are fairly assumable.
Yes.
Well, don't worry. I told Agent Texas not to harm your friend out there too much. And hopefully, she's known to get overzealous, but she doesn't take any joy in hurting people too much.
Nines can take care of themselves.
My apologies. I didn't mean to assume. The future is a scary place. But not because of how different it is. It's scary how much never changes.
Referring to yourself.
People like me. People who make my kind of mistakes.
Mhm.
You know, I honestly thought that I would be helping the world, bringing this technology back, but, well, guess Icarus didn't think his wings would melt when he first put them on either.
That's the problem. You thought too much of yourself.
I certainly did. Layla, can you hear me? And you see the necklace on Ari's neck starts to glow, and apparating out of the blue light, you see the form of Layla. And she says, "You didn't think you were helping the world. You thought you were helping yourself, Leonard. That's it. That's what it was always about. Even when I thought it was about me and you, it's always just about you." And you see the head sort of hangs in the chair for a second and says, "I suppose maybe it was." So what do we do now, my esteemed guests? It appears
That's up to her.
And as you say that, she begins to stride over towards the chair, and she begins to glow, and that blue light turns an angry red, and the hair begins to float up. And she says, "You know what? Actually, I've changed my mind. You're too ready to die. And you know what? I don't have that luxury anymore. So why should you have it?" You see, Church says nothing. Ari reaches out to you and sort of quietly says, "Call. I think I'm coming through double through someone's headphones, I believe." Okay. Whatever just happened, fixed it.
That was mine then.
Okay, you're good. She leans up to you, Call, and says, I don't know that I'm particularly on board with torturing this man.
Isn't exactly my thing either.
Layla, I still think we came here for a specific job, and I think we should fulfill that job as much as we can. And Layla doesn't turn and just says, "You're mercenaries, hired blades. If I can trade you the monetary secrets, what difference does it make to you what the job is?"
I do things my way. I'm a killer, but I don't kill needlessly. And I only accepted this job because that man sitting in that chair right there needs to die.
But now, so soon, without a chance to truly atone for what he's done. And Ari steps forward and says, "Layla, I understand that you are hurt and angry," and in a voice that rattles the entire building around you, Layla turns, features completely gone, just the angry face of a revenant. And she says,
"You understand nothing. If you
Cole.
did,
"You wouldn't want him to die so soon."
Cole will move in front of Ari. Be careful who you point that anger at.
Cole, make me a sway check with an additional 1d.
Yeah, that was a one.
Okay. With that, you see that she turns to face you both and raises her hand up, and Ari reaches out and grabs your arm reflexively, and everything slows down around you, Cole. Ari is moving completely, like just barely. Church is sort of beginning to turn his head, and you begin to see this energy gather at Layla's hand. "Well, this is quite a pickle, isn't it, Cole?" You turn and see this older man with sunken, sullen features and this wide-brimmed, almost cowboy hat, long leather duster, and on his shoulder there's a small, what looks to be like a baby buzzard almost. "I don't believe that we've had the privilege. My name is Josiah. I'm a friend of ours."
So you're the one.
"Yes, I know she's mentioned me once or twice." "Found yourself in quite a pickle here."
Also,
"Well, my friend, you are quite talented in many respects, but I don't think exercising demons is one of them, in the literal or figurative sense." "So, I've come to offer my services to you. And I know what you're thinking. What is in exchange for? And what could the cost be? All I ask is you follow the buzzards. That's it. Friend already has been, and nothing bad's happened to her."
I would hope not.
Yes, well, you're not someone I want to be on the bad side of, Mr. Cole. I assure you that much. She's
What help
angry.
would you provide?
Well, she's angry Cass looks over at Layla. When you're a spirit for that long, no matter how hard you try and hold on to memories, they eventually begin to fade. She's starting to forget why she's angry. And she's just becoming angry. And he sort of walks, he's like, would you follow me if you don't mind? He sort of walks you over to her and creates this mote of light that starts to float around her and says, look into that shadow for me. And you look down into the shadow that Layla's casting, but spirits, you've interacted with spirits before in Duskfall, they're not exactly rare. Spirits aren't supposed to cast shadows. And in this shadow, you see these blocky, mottled yellow teeth, this stained green and orange skin and pointed ears, and this wide Cheshire cat-like grin. And he says, now, unbeknownst to your friend Bishop, that little sign that they found that briefly rematerializes some ghosts. It's what we call a beacon or an access point of an entity by the name of Charlie. It allows things that are incorporeal to have form for a brief amount of time, but it leaves a mark on them. It makes them twist to their baser instincts, because even though they are just spirits, they are still mortal spirits. And Charlie is the id that lives in the shadows and minds of all mortals.
A very dangerous thing.
Very dangerous indeed. And maybe, mention that to Bishop next time you get a chance to talk to him.
Crossed my mind.
But essentially what I offer you, to get back on subject, I can exercise this piece of Charlie. But I would love for you to join the Children of Chance. All we ask is when the world presents you a pattern, you follow.
Options are limited.
Very much so. But then again, you are quite resourceful, so I wouldn't put it past you to come up with something to get out of this yourself.
I'm quite resourceful, but unlike this one, he looks at church. I tend to keep my ego in check.
And that's what makes you very, very valuable.
He'll reach out his hand to Josiah.
Josiah takes his hat off and shakes his hand and says, lovely. Welcome to the order. We have meetings every third Wednesdays with cookie and apple juice. And he claps his hands together, and there's a wave of energy that begins to pour out. And the shadow stands up off of the ground and is 8 foot tall, with limbs that are long enough to reach either wall in the room. And the head sort of turns and says, Josiah, ruining my fun again. And it is just cast away by this wave of energy. It says, well, I'm gonna pay for that one, but worth it.
Why do I get the feeling that's not the last time I'm gonna see something like that?
Well, You are currently indebted to a child, Charlie. You should not forget about Tommy Two-Kinch too much.
Yeah.
But you're resourceful, and you got your crew at your back, including Ari. And now you have me in your corner as well. Granted, I try to stay out of things, but when Charlie gets involved and starts tipping the scales unfairly, it's my job to balance them.
We all have a job.
Yep, and all jobs gotta get done by someone.
Ain't that the truth?
And with that, the next time you blink, you're feeling Ari's grasp on your hand again, and you're back to where you were standing. And Layla's features have returned. And she sort of lowers the hand, a little confused, and says, what was I doing?
You lost yourself for a moment. Anger
She-
can do that.
I'm sorry. It was never what I wanted, but that's how life works, right?
Seems that way.
She
How
looks,
do you want to end this?
She looks at Church and walks around so that she can look him in the face, because he has not turned his head from the screen the whole time y'all have been conversing. And she kneels and she says, you know, a part of me wanted to forgive you. Wanted to forgive the man that I married, but you killed him a long time ago, didn't you? Sold him off to complete your own ambitions. I just want you to know, Leonard, that I do not forgive you. And I hope you burn in the deepest pit of a hell that I'll never see. And you see she and disappears back into the amulet. And there's no response from Church.
Ari.
Ari turns and says, let's do it. What must be done?
Ari, go check on Nines.
Right. I'll see if he's won the fight already. And she turns and steps out of the room, and we see the door. And back outside with Nines and Tex. Nines, you've been cut a couple more times at this point. Go ahead and make me another skirmish check.
All right. Quick question. What constitutes a scary weapon? Because I have one of those on me right now.
What constitutes a what kind of weapon? Sorry?
Scary.
I can't hear the word. You're saying
Scary?
scary?
Yeah, scary.
Oh, okay.
Spooky,
Scary
scary.
weapon? Like fucking any weapon that you would see and go, oh shit, why does that guy have that?
Okay, cool.
It can be whatever you think it is.
I honestly have a thoughts head empty, but I got a 6 again.
Okay, so with another 6, you've been managing to get a couple blows in on this Agent Texas. You are very aware, however, that she is much faster, agile, and stronger than you. But this suit is at the very least allowing you to keep pace.
Mhm.
Ryan, do me a favor and whisper to me either on Discord DMs or Zoom DMs what's happening behind the closed door. Can be as short or as descriptive as you would like. But Nines, over Tex's shoulder, you see Ari starting to walk your way. And Tex, hearing the footsteps, turns on her heels and goes, "Oh, you're the one that has them. What do you do?"
Texas turned their back to me.
Oh yeah.
Are they still? How are they holding the weird blue sword thing that's been cutting me? I'm gonna for now on call an energy sword.
It's like it's held like in front. It's not pointed at you.
Okay. Is it like disarmable at this point?
If you could get her to release her grasp on it, you'd assume so.
Could I try?
You most certainly can try. Go ahead.
Since she's kind of turned and...
Sure. Go ahead and roll me a skirmish check.
Another 6, bestie.
There you go. Rolling like you're on fucking fire. You take this opportunity to reach up with one arm. You grab around her entire torso to clamp the arm to her shoulders, and you just smack it out of her hand with the other hand. And as soon as it leaves her hand, it deactivates and crumples to the ground. And you see that she, with you around her arms, she grabs and locks your arm around her torso, runs towards Ari, jumps and kicks off of the wall with and just like bashes you into the wall next to it.
Oh.
Go ahead and take another point of stress damage.
Okay. Have I been taking more stress damage from the other hits I've gotten?
Let's see how much. You've taken 3 stress damage over the course of this fight. 3 additional stress damage.
Okay, cool. How much stress is too much stress damage in this game? When I fell off the bar?
Yeah, it's when your track is full.
Okay, cool. We're good. So.
And I think technically this shouldn't be stress damage, but whatever.
Yeah.
So as you feel it coursing through your veins, this the rage potion that you took essentially, you feel it beginning to wear off. As you're losing blood, it seems that the potion itself is losing potency. And as Texas sort of makes her way over to Ari and is standing over her like 7-foot frame, the door opens again and Cole walks out looking no worse for wear. She looks up and just stares at Cole. And she says, "Phyllis?" And there's just a pause. She looks at Cole again. "Move, idiot." And like just pushes you out of the way, Nines, and starts making her way back toward the stairs. And you see her climb up onto the railing. And she stops almost as if to say something.
Cole doesn't stop staring at it. Like, he's just blankly staring.
And then she just jumps off of the railing and falls 9 stories. And you hear this that shakes the building as she lands. And then you hear footsteps from the bottom of the stairwell.
I think it's time for us to go.
Yeah. I just gotta grab one thing. I'm grabbing that energy sword.
Okay. You grab that handle that projected the energy sword. And as you start making your steps toward the end of the hallway, you can't move. The armor's too heavy.
Just let me have it.
Unless you want to carry it out in pieces, I think it's staying here.
Well, I at least want this still. I can hold the helmet, right?
Yeah.
Okay,
Call.
that's...
As Nines takes the helmet off, you sort of squint. Were their eyes always that color?
Nines, you alright?
Yeah, my rage is wearing down. But I'm alright. Why?
Your eyes.
And Ari goes, I mean, they're pretty, but certainly different.
You gonna explain it at all, or?
You look into the visor and you see your eyes are this deep, swirling fuchsia color.
Alright, works. I guess.
And you
Bishop
see
and I can make a new club.
The woman sort of apparate out of nothingness again, Phyllis, and she says, I noticed that your suit had not finished its infusion process as your bloodstream was missing. Since you had the prominent compound, I decided to tell your suit to finish the infusion process. You're very welcome for this service.
What?
Nines. From here forward.
Oh, great.
You can write this down into your notes or in your empty special ability box.
Okay, great.
For the cost of 3 stress, you can automatically activate the effect of your rage vials. It's been mixed permanently into your bloodstream.
Interesting.
Are you good with that?
I mean, yeah, it's nice, right? I mean, but I don't need to carry it around, I guess, now.
Yeah, but that drug has side effects.
Attention, all freelancer agents and freelancer main, since you are still currently present. The life force of the director appears to have expired, and as such, the expositional order is being executed. If you could finish returning to your bottom tank so that your body can be properly disposed of, that would be wonderful. Processing. Excuse me, but Agent Main, I do not sense your disabling chip has been yet implanted.
Awkward.
Oh.
And Ari goes, disabling chip? Phyllis, how many disabling chips are active? The disabling chips in the 14 field agents currently around Duskfall are active and have been activated. To my knowledge, there are currently 8 clones in the basement that have yet to be processed properly, and there are 14 field agents currently. The 14 field agents have been properly executed, as is the contingency plan when the director's life has been ended.
22 dots.
Mine's 8.
14 of them around Duskfall, and 8 centered in this building.
Let's get the hell out of here.
Thank you for visiting the Dr. Leonard Church Research Institute. We hope you've enjoyed your stay. And you all descend the building.
Am I still in the armor or not?
You would have to take it off to move.
Could I activate my new rage feature?
Will 3 stress fill your bar?
Yes.
And give you one
Yeah.
harm. And give you one harm when it fills.
You can take the helmet without activating your thing.
I'll take the helmet.
Okay. And as you descend the stairs, I will assume that y'all are going out the way you came. All right,
It's best
so
not
you
to tempt fate.
descend the stairs to the 4th floor, make your way around the acid pool and out the window, and you cross back into the annex house that is across from the what's it called? The Research Institute proper, the drain-off house. And it is in there that you find Bishop, Katie, and 7 copies of the same woman, all in lab coats. For context, Bishop and Katie, you would have already dealt with any of the research that was left over, and you are currently doing the phone thing, whatever phone things you would like to do in here.
At least one picture, but probably trying to figure out what information is on it.
Yeah, I want to know all the stuff that it has on it, because right now it's still like magic information box to me. Yeah.
So you go, I can save you some time on a roll here. You go through and there are plenty of apps, like, you know, Flappy Bird. There's
a rare download. Wow.
a couple gotcha games. Unfortunately, when you try to open any of the things that are labeled notes, you are told that there is no service. For meta knowledge for Max and Janie, she didn't seem to keep any notes on her phone. They were all on a server that she connected to, kept online.
Any text?
Text messages you go through, there are a couple. Let me hold on a second. Okay. Most of the text messages that you read through are spam and like verification numbers. There are 3 different muted prayer chains that she seems to be a part of. There are a couple of texts from some company called PayPal. None of them really there's not really very many relevant text messages.
So she really needs to call these people on her insurance. Apparently, that's it.
Basically, yeah. Were she alive, she would say, "Who texts anyone anymore? I just DM them on Twitter. Oh my god."
Oh,
I guess we can hypothetically keep it as photo box and flashlight if we
like
wanted.
like taking pictures of herself.
It'll die though, so maybe we should save the battery in case we need it again.
I wonder how hasn't it died already?
Because she probably brought a charger of some kind with her.
You took
If
her
she
stuff.
brought the phone with her and obviously intended to use it because she used it plenty of times.
Where did she
But
stay?
I don't know if we have that.
Where did she stay?
Probably at the lab. If that's where Cathedral lived, then I don't know where else she would have gone.
So I've got all the papers so that we can try to figure this out, but we need to get these clones somewhere safe. I have rum, but
real quick, you don't need to get us anywhere safe. We're perfectly capable and have no plans of staying in this town, to be entirely honest with you.
Okay, all you have are lab coats, so you at least want outfits so that you aren't in just lab coats.
Now, clothes would be very much appreciated.
I got you.
I don't know how much you know about the world right now, but where I'm from is across the water. If you want me to direct you somewhere to stay, if you go there, I can.
I think that everything related to us is going to be extraordinarily complicated, and I think we're just gonna handle it as it comes. I mean,
Okay.
It's all the same planet, so we'll just go where we would go in the future.
What is this place called in the time period that you're from? Like, what is this town called? Yeah.
Oh, jeez. Give me a second. I believe it's called Liberty City. I haven't been here very much.
Okay.
Look,
We're
let's wait
originally...
Sorry.
Originally, we're members of the Aegis military from Halcyon City. Or collective I am. This is gonna be weird. But either way, we are starting to form, somewhat of a game plan, right, York? And York, she sort of like looks up, and as soon as she came into here, she took a piece of like coal and just like a board and just started writing. And she's like, doesn't even look up, just throws a thumbs up and is still just writing and writing and writing.
Are all of us back together right now?
It's around this time that Call, Ari, and Nines walk in.
Okay, I'm going to suggest that we hurry up and get like either to my place or to the headquarters or something, because I don't think we should stay here. We can give them some outfits and send them on their way. I'm going to give them my card and tell them to contact us if they need anything, and if we can contact them if we need them.
Okay, we appreciate that.
Where's Arctic and Cobalt?
Yeah. What happened?
Well, so basically what happened is I was with Genevieve and I was getting the ghost vials and I have them, and then I was coming out and then Alizé showed up and pointed her big fancy gun, no, my big fancy gun, at me, and yeah, she shot him. He was breathing when they left. I sent them to the doctor, and I think that it should be fine. But I had no idea that she was going to show up or that she was going to do that. She just did it. And I don't think I could have done anything to stop it.
At the mention of that, you see one of the more serious ones who's been sort of bouncing their leg very almost angrily, has sort of looks up and says, whoever that doctor is, tell him to look for shards of the bullet. I don't think y'all have hollow points back here, but if he misses them during the surgery, that could be not good.
I should go now, then, or we should go now. I'm really tired of going places alone. Can somebody come with me?
I'll go.
Okay.
We can go. Ghost Kid family, Ghost family.
In here. Where's Genevieve?
Genevieve would be with y'all, so she's
Okay.
just here.
We're in that
Yeah.
house, right? Is the kid here? Are the
They're
kids
upstairs.
here?
That's probably where Genevieve is upstairs with the youngest Vestial.
Cole call out. I assume you're the 8 that haven't been deactivated.
Deactivated?
Yeah, they sent a whole message, and I kind of like shake the helmet about deactivating everyone that had their chips in.
And
No. There were 8 that didn't.
One of them sort of nods slowly and says, "Well, hey, we dodged that bullet. It's pretty good, right?" And you see the one who gave the helpful tip about the hollow points goes, "Shut up, Washington."
Oh.
There's one angry one still stomping around in there.
What do
Yeah.
the chips do?
Say again, Janie?
What do the chips do? No, Katie's asking.
Gotcha.
Assuming they kill whoever they're in.
Are they-
14 have been executed.
Do they have them in there now?
These 7, no.
Okay.
That's
Theoretically not in Texas either.
York raises a finger and says, "That's not all the chips do. The chips also release a biodegenerating gas that breaks the body down quickly, so it can't be recovered."
Right.
And you all don't have them in you, correct?
Apparently not. We're still alive.
Can we check that sometime? Can a doctor find them?
And you see that a couple of them look at each other, and Carolina says, I think we can handle all of that. Listen, I appreciate the help, but while we are a little bit out of time, with all due respect, we're soldiers. We'll be fine.
Do you still want me to get you the clothes?
Again, clothes, super helpful. Really appreciate that.
One of the suits was upstairs. I don't know if they're probably yours. If Texas also had one, I don't know if you want the back.
Oh no, we're not strong enough to wear Mjolnir armor. We can't move in those things. Texas is different. So,
How long would it take Katie to go run and get some clothes?
I'm sorry. Say again.
How long would it take Katie to get clothing for them?
For Katie specifically, maybe 30 minutes.
Okay, she's gonna go and get clothing.
Ari will go with you to assist. And the camera will pan over to Bishop and Cull, who are standing outside of you. At this point should already have already went in and given that helpful tip to the doctor. And the surgeon comes out and says, I have unfortunate news. He is alive, but he's lost most control of his fine motor functions. I don't know that he'll be able to. This is since this doctor is Bishop's contact, he knows what you all do and says he's not going to be around or available for jobs in the future. I don't think.
Is he going to be able to live?
Uh, certainly. He can certainly still have a fulfilling life. He'll make it, but I'm going to Arctic is a stubborn bastard, but I'm going to strongly recommend that he retire from anything overtly strenuous, and I will extend that recommendation to anyone who would be looking to hire him.
Did you get all the shards of the bullet out?
Yes, there were a lot, and I'm glad you told me, or I definitely wouldn't have even looked for that. But he holds up the small little vial that's full of shrapnel and says, "They all should be removed."
And Cobalt's there.
Cobalt is standing next to you all just silently.
I'm
Whatever
sorry.
they owe you is on me.
Cobalt looks at Cole and says, "I'm still available for hire, though."
You sure?
Positive.
You should rest for a little while at least.
Yeah. I'll have to get him set up in an apartment and a couple of things.
Cole would pass them 5 coin.
And before he takes it out of your hand, he pats his hand and goes, "He'll be all right. I'm not lucky enough to be rid of that old son of a bitch just yet."
Mm.
And he, opens the door of the room and closes it behind him. He goes to sit next to his brother in the hospital bed and leaves you two there in the waiting room.
I suppose that could have gone worse.
After this, things will get more hectic.
I feel really bad. And I don't usually feel bad about stuff that I know I couldn't have changed. But I do now.
That just means you're human.
Ugh. Should we leave them be?
Yeah. We'll come visit them another time.
I will pay the doctor whatever is owed for the procedure.
That's only a coin.
Okay. Nonetheless, it is covered.
All right. With that, as the adrenaline drains out of all the various party members, you all eventually make your way back to 3241 Browning Street, exhausted and tired from a job that you did manage to pull off properly. Mechanically wise, you guys are getting a crew upgrade, which means you can either pick a new crew special ability off the sheet, or you can have 2 upgrades to your lair. You are also moving up a tier. The Blue Ghosts are officially a tier 2 crew in the city of Duskfall. And with that, the camera zooms across the Black Sea over to the city of White Crown, to one particular corner of White Crown that was purchased, the whole neighborhood. And while there are many houses and buildings that line the streets, they're all empty, gutted for room and parts. And underneath the house at the end of the lane, there is this very dark chambered basement, and the lights flicker on And in the corner of that dark chambered basement, we see a white little cube with a white cord that extends off of it. It looks proprietary. It's plugged into the wall. And you hear this deep sound as a tank opens and a very familiar liquid spills out. And a woman with very long pink hair opens her eyes and says, "Oh, God damn it. Now I need a new phone." And that's where we're going to end episode 7 of Blue Ghost's Rising Actions. Thank you all so much for joining us for this roller coaster of sci-fi steampunk shenaniganery. And we're going to do some outros, starting with our resident arcane goth bringing you Bishop this evening. Max, how are you?
I've been worse, but I've been better, but I've been worse. I am Max. I play Bishop here. Anywhere that I want you to find me on the internet, my @ is arcane goth. This is my only stream at the moment, but looking into the future months, I will be back for some stuff with TTRPG in the future.
Fantastic. And next up, we have the ever professional, the newest of the Children of Chance, bringing you Cull. What's up, Ryan?
Going on? Call Ryan. You can usually find me lurking just in people's various streams.
Hell yeah. And welcome to being a follower of the pattern. I'm so excited about that. I love Josiah. He's a great guy. And next up we have the legendary prop master. It's Becca.
Hello, I'm Becca, also Cool Armadillo, anywhere you can find me. This has been Tisiphone. This one that just fell over at the end of the session was Mayday. You can find me for Blue Ghost for our final session. Why are you... And you can also find me on Saturdays on any of your favorite podcast listening forums for my podcast, Unlikely Adventurers, where me and my co-host Macy make really bad, awful D&D characters and cry about how they unyassified the Green M&M.
Yes, truly the deepest crime of our generation.
Honestly.
And now we have our resident mom, everyone's favorite, bringing you Katie this evening. Janie, how are the both of you?
We are good. I don't know what I'm supposed to say, but I always get this wrong anyway. So, wait.
There you go. Perfect. It's clear and concise. And lastly, hi, I'm Dee. I'm the nerd that puts all of this wonderful, complicated story together. And for those of you who, like some of the cast members, finally figured out why the show is called Blue Ghost, welcome. This is so much fun. We've got one more episode that we will be getting to, not next week, but the week after that. We will be back for episode 8, the season finale of season 1 of Blue Ghost. Ooh. But other than that, you can find me on this same channel on Monday for Kingsguard, where I play Ade Zuko. On Tuesdays, starting in a couple of weeks, you can find me over on it is next week. On Tuesdays, starting next week, you can find me over on TTRPG, where I am the storyteller for a Vampire the Masquerade Chronicle that is called Lost in Miami, with some wonderful, wonderful faces over there. Very soon on Wednesdays, you'll be able to catch me in a place doing a thing. And then on Thursdays, you can catch me over on my stream, where I usually stream some wonderful things. And Fridays, I try and game with friends. And Saturdays, I sleep. So thank you all for watching. Thank you to our special guest producer, Hoosha Kid, the Big Hoosh, for running all the magic behind the scenes. We couldn't do this without our wonderful producers. And also, you know what? Thank you to Anita too, because I can do whatever I want. We are going to raid into the lovely Madame Gandalf. We're going to go show Alex some love because she has had a very long day. So get in that Green Dragon Tavern and give her all the hugs and kisses. And until the next time we see you, keep your eyes on the prize. Bye, everybody.